Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. Recently on the channel I looked at Legends of Preternia, the new big box expansion for Masters of the Universe Battleground from Archon Studio. In that video I promised to do a second video covering the two promo characters that I ordered at the same time, so here we are. In this video we're going to take a look at He-Man with Battle Cat and Skeletor with Panthor. Both of these miniatures are tournament promos, but Archon Studio made the, in my opinion at least, very wise choice to also make them available to purchase at trade shows and direct from their web store for a limited time. Honestly, I prefer not to see limited promos at all, especially when they are this cool and desirable, but at least Archon made an effort to make them more readily available for people who don't take part in tournament play. But anyway, each promo pack contains one large miniature, 6 different language versions of the character card, and some assembly instructions. Let's take a look at He-Man first. Here's the frame. The details look really crisp, but at this point I would expect nothing less from Archon Studio. They do a really nice job capturing details, and their miniatures also go together very well with few obvious joins. You will notice that the miniature has a round scenic base, but this miniature does also come with a large hex base for use in the game Battleground. I am probably going to magnetize the base so I can remove the miniature and use it in games that require round bases if I want to. And here are the build instructions. They look pretty straightforward and they're very clear. I am going to put the miniature together in this video, but first I want to show you the character card. This unit costs 30 points to bring into your team. That information isn't on the card itself but is available from the Battleground website, and as you would expect from a unit costing that much, this is going to be a really powerful addition to your force. Stats are decent. They are actually the same as He-Man's from the core game, except you are getting 8 health instead of 5, and your speed caps out at 5 instead of 8. It may seem weird that Battle Cat has a slower max speed than He-Man on foot, but that seems to be a balancing factor because Battle Cat has an obscenely powerful special ability. The ability is Lead by Example, which did confuse me at first, but the game designer did clarify it for me. Basically, when an ally within 12 inches of He-Man and Battle Cat activates, that ally can spend 2 mana to allow He-Man to interrupt their activation. During that interruption, He-Man and Battle Cat can move in any direction. That means He-Man can make multiple interruptions as long as allies can pay the cost, giving him the ability to quickly leap into action whenever he is needed. Battle Cat's second ability is Tiger's Claw. You test strength -1 against an engaged enemy's toughness, and you have the chance to inflict 1 wound and knock down the target. Knockdown targets suffer a penalty to their defense rolls, so you can do a nice little setup here where Battle Cat knocks down the target using this skill, and then He-Man makes a powerful attack to put down some serious damage. Doesn't sound very heroic, does sound very effective. Overall, I can see He-Man and Battle Cat causing a lot of disruption on the battlefield, but you will have to protect them well as they are going to be subjected to a lot of incoming attacks from your opponent as they get stuck into the action. Let's see the assembled miniature. Here it is. This went together really well, and I was very impressed with how they managed to hide a lot of the joins by cutting the piece in clever ways along the edge of armour plates and clumps of fur. There are a few visible seams, particularly along the stomach, but nothing too serious. You will notice that He-Man is not attached to the base yet. That's because I'm going to paint this piece in sub-assemblies, just to make it easier. I love how He-Man is standing with his back towards Battle Cat. I think it gives the piece a really strong narrative, and it reflects the friendship of these two characters as they support each other. I really think this is a wonderful piece, and I can see myself using this version of He-Man in a lot of my heroic forces. But if you aren't into muscle-bound goody-goody two-shoes, you might be interested in this instead. Skeletor with Panthor. This is exactly the same setup as the first promo, so you get the miniature, the hex base, 6 language variants for the character card, and the build instructions. Skeletor is cast in purple plastic, and the detail again looks excellent. These miniatures are certainly as good as the ones from the core game and the first waves of expansions. One minor complaint is that Skeletor's feet are sculpted onto the base. It's not the end of the world, but I am planning to keep Skeletor separate while painting to make my life easier, and I would have personally preferred it if his feet were attached to his body. And here are the build instructions. They've done a good job in cutting up the miniatures as little as possible. You don't have a lot of tiny components to fiddle around with, which I really appreciate. Look, Skeletor is only in 4 pieces, except for his feet. And then we have the character card, We have almost the same stat line as Skeletor from the core game, except a boost in health from 5 to 8 and a boost in speed from 5'8 to 6'9. It's going to cost you 32 points to add this version of Skeletor to your force, so he really has to bring something good to the battlefield. Fortunately, he does not disappoint, as he is an incredible mana generator. Every time he activates or interrupts, he gains a mana for each fate card played, so he's always going to have the power he needs to throw some magic around. The second skill is similar to Battle Cat's Tiger Claws, giving Panthor a chance to get involved in the fray. Panthor's fangs let you test strength against an engaged enemy's toughness, with a chance of inflicting 1 wound and pushing the target 1 space. Obviously, this is useful if there is some hazardous terrain nearby, like the lava pits from the Legends of Preternia expansion, but its main strength is in letting Panthor push an enemy away, freeing up Skeletor to attack that enemy with ranged weapons and magic spells. Let's see the miniature put together. I felt this one didn't go together quite as well as He-Man and Battle Cat, but it was still very easy and most of the joins are well hidden. There is a bit of a seam on the top where the saddle sits together, but with a little liquid green stuff and some paint, that isn't going to show at all. I love the posing and the really dynamic stance Skeletor has. It's a direct contrast to He-Man's pose. While He-Man felt like he was fighting shoulder to shoulder with a friend, Skeletor looks like he is commanding Panthor into battle, ordering about a minion rather than working together with a companion. As with He-Man, I didn't glue Skeletor to the base. I considered keeping Panthor separate from the base as well, but in the end decided there was enough negative space to be able to get brushes where I needed them to be. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. Another really good miniature, and when it's standing opposite He-Man and Battle Cat, the two pieces create a lovely little diorama. So there we have it. I think both of these characters are interesting, they have solid stats and excellent thematic abilities. They also add a new element to team building, as you now have the option of taking one powerful main character with 1 or 2 allies, rather than taking 4 or 5 regular units. But of course, most importantly of all, it introduces Battle Cat and Panthor to the game. Everything else is just gravy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you've really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.